The MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is presented by WynnBET. Bet $100 at WynnBET and get a $100 free bet. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBET. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET to claim your free bet today. We're also brought to you by the SGPN merch store. From now until Tuesday, get 20% off when you use the promo code NFCBEAST. Welcome, everybody, to the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford. I am in Newcastle upon Tyne on the northeast coast of England. We have a two-man show tonight. It is Thursday, September 22, and we are here to handicap a handful and a few more games from the MLB slate. Friday, September the 23rd. And my co-host tonight, sporting Stars and Stripes, patriotic, greatest country in the world bandana. Mr. Noah Bennick, how you doing?
Pretty good, Malcolm. Yeah, I'm just repping the USA for the President's Cup today. I tailed one of Boston Kappa's picks in the Cantlay and Shoffley match, and they took it easily. They were like 5 up in the first 12 holes. A little under the weather today. I bit my tongue, so I've got a little bit of a lisp as well. But you know what? We're ready to get through these games. You got me and Malcolm again, so you always know that's going to be good news. You got an hour full of less games, so you just make it good fun and quality, right? Right, Malcolm?
Well, tonight should be okay. There's no Great Britain didn't qualify. I have scoured the area for creatures. I've scoured the area for flying animals, crawling animals, like creeping animals, slimy animals of any description, and there's nothing in here. I've got no onion facts or, in fact, vegetable facts of any description whatsoever. So Moonaf will be delighted to hear we could actually just stick to MLB. Saying that, I am going to.
Any waffles?
Sorry. I didn't know. I'm going to scrap that no Great Britain chat because we've just discussed off air that Jazz Chisholm is going to be representing Team GB in the WBC next year. Jazz Chisholm is of Bahamian origin and did play in the qualifiers for GB in 2017 when he was about 7 years old.
That's ridiculous.
So he's going to make it for Team GB next year. But that is it. That's all the Team GB chat we're having. We can leave that now till next March. So yeah, there's plenty of day games today. It's around about 20 past 10 in the evening where I am, but there's been some day games early on, nothing of huge consequence. I think I took an under in the one game from the bottom draw that I took was the under in the Texas and LA Angels game, which finished at 8. I think I claimed at 8. And yeah, 8.5 is too high, is what I said yesterday. So we finished at 8 in that one. Obviously, a good judge. But I made a rookie error this afternoon, Noah, in that all week long, I faded the Twins against the Royals. We had them. I'll go back through my little pad here. Kansas City. We had the team right the other night for the Queen. I can't remember who was pitching in that one. That was Zach Greinke against Dylan Bundy.
Yep.
Last night, we had Lynch against Bailey Ober. Casey at plus 140. Cashed that one as well. On last night's show, I mentioned that I have saved the career of Jonathan Heasley in the same way that I'd saved the career of Anibal Sanchez by fading him like 4 games in a row. And then for some reason this afternoon, I backed Minnesota. Having spent all week saying how they're broken. They're completely. I think they had 2 hits today. I said the bats are broken. They're not interested. The Royals have been great value all week. I ended up back in Minnesota.
All month, like the last 2 months, honestly.
And then I just sat there in horror and watched. The Royals won the game 4-1, but they had 10 hits to Minnesota's 2. It was just a non-event, and I knew. I mean, why would I do that, Noah? After all the homework we've done, why would I press those buttons on my laptop to make my money go on Minnesota? It's like I don't want to win. Like, it's ridiculous.
It feels like that move was still better than both my lock and my dog yesterday. 0-2, and neither of them were even in the fucking stratosphere.
Our Pittsburgh bet was funny.
Was out in the first inning. We both took them first 5 in money line or whatever, and we gave that one to Sean too.
I saw that on the Discord channel. Sean came back with his tail between his legs a couple of hours later. I was like, "Nice pick, guys. It's not our fault, really."
I didn't even check the Discord. Honestly, I'm so bad at like keeping it up to date, and I feel so guilty sending the link in the Discord. Hey, come check us out live because I haven't talked to you in 10 hours. But fuck, dude, the Pittsburgh game was done. Contreras racked up 11 strikeouts in 4.2, but he gave up like 7 runs. I don't know how that's possible. And then my lock for 2 straight nights was the Cardinals Padres over. Yeah, not even close. Snell had
was it 1-0 last night?
Yes, Snell had a no-hitter through 6, and it was 1-0. Just terrible.
Yep. And the night before was when I'd taken Clevenger out of my fantasy team, and he was top class as well. So, between the two of us, we're making a right pig's ear of everything. Munaf, however, although Munaf is off the radar, he is quietly just posting winners on the graphic. So, listen to the show. Listen to us to have a bit of a laugh. Go and find Munaf's picks. That would be my advice. So, it's an easy game, isn't it? Yep. Easy game. So, Friday, we've got round about 9 or 10 games with playoff implications we're going to concentrate on. We might just dip into the bottom draw as well.
I love that term.
Yeah, with the bottom draw covers everything, doesn't it? Just where you put all the old tat that you don't need anymore. Yes, there are quite a few lines missing. We tend to have this on a Thursday night. I think we just talked about it offline, saying that maybe because it's the getaway day. And so there's sort of day games today, and then teams are sort of traveling. So maybe the lines are just a little bit slower coming out heading into the weekend. No day baseball tomorrow at all. The slate gets underway at 6:35, but we will start our handicap at 6:40 p.m. with a matchup between the Milwaukee Brewers and the Cincinnati Reds. Officially a TBD picture for the Brewers. Mike Minor, the lefty, is slated to go for Cincinnati. We've got no lines on this one. Like I said, there's 3 or 4 games in this position with Jason Alexander unconfirmed by the Brewers. But I do think, did you agree with Jason Alexander's presence, Noah, by the way?
Yes, I see Alexander as well.
Okay. I mean, so I can handicap it for you, give you some thoughts. We could do with, this is where we need the Rockford lines, don't we? We need Dylan to give us his homemade numbers for us. But Jason Alexander is, absolutely. 2-3 on the year, 5.40 ERA, 71 2/3, 46 strikeouts. Mike Minor, 4-12 with a 6.06 ERA, 98 innings and 76 strikeouts. Alexander is what he thought he was. He's 6-14 in his last 5, 5.35 on the road. He's lost the Brewers have lost every start that he's made. Mike Minor in a similar boat, 4.97 in his last 5. He's got a 6.22 home ERA, all round poor from Mike Minor. I mean, again, handicap this a long time ahead of time. We've still got no lines out on it. And what I tend to do is look at my instinct and then try and find a reason to go against it when I see the lines. Try and find something that's going to talk me out of it. You don't need to look beyond the over here, but obviously that depends on the number. If they put the over up at 17, we're not going to take it. I mean, the 2 offenses are anemic, which is why I think this over could be, I don't know, 8.5 or something like that. I would take it over 8.5. I might take it over 9 and maybe be happy with the push on it. But there's got to be runs in this game just because both pitchers give up gazillions of them. What do you think?
Yeah, anemic is the correct word for both of these offenses. I guess I can give out a couple of trends. Milwaukee has hit their over in 6 of their last 9 games, and they're 14-6 in their last 20 games against the Cincinnati Reds. 3-8, though, in their last 11 on the road. The Reds, they go completely against that over trend, but, that could end up hitting and breaking that trend with the books setting their lines. The under's hitting 5 in a row for the Reds, and they're 3-10 in the last 13. Although in this series, the last 15 games, the over is hitting 10 of them. So, yeah, my initial lean here was the over in this one as well. But again, without a total, I really, honestly, blind. I would take this one 8.5 or less. I would go over. 9 is when you just need to question it. Maybe look to see if Munaf locks it up on his graphic, or you go to MLB or the MLB picks page on sportsgamblingpodcast.com.
It's a weird one for the odd setters because if you handicap the pitches, you want to go over. If you handicap the offenses, you'd set the total at about 6. So that's what leads me to think it might be something manageable, like 8.5. So we'll find out in due course. Next game of relevance is a 7:05 Eastern first pitch between the Houston Astros and the Baltimore Orioles. Jose Urquidy gets the ball for Houston, and Dean Kramer is on the hill for Baltimore. We've got full lines on this one. Houston are the favourites, -153. Baltimore +130. Total set at 7.5. Noah, take it away.
All right, so Houston at Baltimore, and I'm sorry, my lisp is pissing me off, so it might bother somebody listening as well. I just want to address it. The Astros are 10-1 in their last 11 games, currently on a 7-game road win streak, and the Orioles, they're 2-4 in their last 6. They almost got swept by the Tigers. Jose Urquidy is 13-7 on the year with a 3.96 ERA, 127 strikeouts, 35 walks, 157 innings pitched. He's gotten rocked for he got rocked for 6 runs in his last 2 starts against the Angels and the Athletics. And then for Baltimore, Dean Kramer gets the ball to start. 7-5 with a 3.33 ERA, 75 strikeouts, 27 walks, and 105.1 innings pitched. He's a 2.91 ERA in his last 7 starts, so he's been consistently good for a while here. He's one of my guys that I like to tail too. So, I mean, I just can't fathom putting my money here on Urquidy after how bad he's looked against 2 pitiful offenses in the Angels and Athletics in back-to-back games. So right now, I really like this Baltimore moneyline bet, Malcolm.
Yeah, it has to be. You can't, even if we're wrong, you can't back Houston just because of what you've seen out of Urquidy. It might just be a coincidence. He might come out and shove tomorrow and be absolutely great. But if that's the case, then I'll happily back him the next time. But on the back of those 2 performances, I don't think you can pick him. No. I had a look at the under just because Houston look like they're getting back to that kind of form again. Like they won 5-2 last night, I think. And that's the classic Houston score. That's Houston seem to win 5-2 all the time. They win, they cover the run line, and then they do it by coming down on the under. But you can't, again, with Urquidy giving up some runs, you can't in good faith take that as well, which really only leaves you the option of Baltimore. And I got no problem with that at all. Got no problem with Kramer. Got no problem with Baltimore at home. They're going to be more than competitive, and this is a decent price for Baltimore, +130. It's going to be a fun bet, and I think it's the only real side that you could sensibly come down on. To get some value for money. Good.
You mentioned it. It's like the only real bet that you can really feel confident in, and I don't know why, but 83% of the public are on the Astros here on the money line, and 92% of the money. Like, I know that, when you get like an inflated favorite here on the money line, it's automatically going to draw more money, but that's just way too much.
Yeah. I think it's probably name recognition more than anything else. The lines that we are fetching out, the WinBet is the place that we're getting them from. Now is the perfect time for new customers at WinBet. If you bet $100, you get $100 free bet. You can get 100% deposit match at the casino, which is 24 hours at for $1,000 as well. WinBet is live in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Tennessee, and Virginia. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/winbet. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET to claim your free bet today. Offer subject to change. T's and C's at winbet.com. Must be 21 or older and present in the state where playthrough WinBet is available. If you were someone who knows a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. Fubo TV, if you're a football watcher, is a must-have for you. Complete coverage of college and pro football, including Red Zone games in 4K as well. Hundreds of live sports and entertainment channels. And you don't have to miss anything with the cloud-based DVR system. No contract, no commitment. Cancel at any time. Try Fubo TV free for 7 days and get 15% off your first month. Go to FuboTV.com/SGP. That's FUBOTV.com/SGP. And finally, in this segment, Odds Trader, a great tool to firstly compare odds from major sportsbooks, also to compare and contrast the different sign-up codes, promos, and bonuses that you get, so you get the best deal if you're looking for a new book. Once you've started that, you'll get things like play-by-play updates, live scores, player stats, key game stats, weather reports, and the all-important bet tracker. All of this is to be found at oddstrader.com/Blue Wire. Odds Trader is the #1 site for all of your game day bets. Next up, 7:05 first pitch. Going to be a fun series. This is the Atlanta Braves at the Philadelphia Phillies. Jake Odorizzi will go for Atlanta, and Aaron Nola draws the start for the Phillies. The lines are Atlanta are a dog here, +116. The Phillies -138. Total is set at 7.5. Odorizzi 5-5, 4.04 ERA, has pitched 93 2/3 with 73 strikeouts. Aaron Nola is 9-12 on the year, 3.38 ERA, 186 1/3 pitched with 210 strikeouts. Odorizzi is just very average. He's one of the most average pitchers there is. 4.65 ERA over his last 5. His last start actually was against Philly. Was his only start against them. And he actually did all right. He only went 4 2/3, but he gave up just 1 run in that spell. I thought the key stat here when I was handicapping this one was that in division, only started 4 games, which is a relatively decent sample size. He's got a 4.91 ERA in that division, which is competitive. So I thought they might have his number, really. Aaron Nola's been relatively inconsistent, actually, of late, too. 4.08 in his last 5. But if you look at the game log, in those last 5 starts, you've got a complete game shutout, you've got a scoreless performance, and you've got a game where he gave up only 1 earned run. Then you've got a game where he gave up 8 and a game where he gave up 4. So what do you get tomorrow? It's really, really tricky. 3.76 home ERA on the season, 2.96 in division, which is a full 2 runs better off. The total for me was out the window because of those inconsistent trends on the pitches. So we're going to get the complete game shutout, or you're going to get the 8 scoreless. I couldn't rightly get down on the right side of a total here. I thought Nola might be a run better. I thought the Phillies might be a run better than Atlanta in this position. It's going to be tight. I had this written down at -125 when I handicapped it this afternoon. Shifted a little bit to -138. But yeah, Philly were my play here, Noah.
Yeah, I agree with you. And we were talking prior to the podcast, on the YouTube channel. We throw like a ticker game down at the bottom, and he threw a couple of games at me, and this was one of them. And I was like, "What's the pitcher matchup?" And he goes, Odorizzi Nola, and I was like, "Ooh, I just don't know if Odorizzi can be on there." It's just that feeling that you get with Jake. It's just he's not consistent, and you're not able to back him. Nola, on the other hand, he is, that 1-2 punch that Philly has. And honestly, it's been Nola for a while, for at least like 2-3 weeks, because Wheeler was on the IL. And this guy, they've leaned on him heavily while Wheeler is out. And I think that this is a spot where Philly is still fighting for at least seeding and wild card position here in the NL. You got to win this game when you have the pitching advantage on the starting side. And especially when you look at the money differential here, a lot of people are enticed by the Braves being a dog. There's a ton of money and a ton of people on them, 75% on Braves here. So I think we're on the right side with the Phillies. And I really don't have much else to add because it really is only off of starting pitching. I handicapped this game yesterday, and you have the better lineup, the better bullpen over there at Atlanta. I really think that you just need Nola to go out there and shove to win a critical game for your ball club.
Yeah, the rest of the lineup, I don't know, but I know Matt Olson's been struggling for Atlanta, and I know that because the first mention of the fantasy matchup this week, but he's not doing me any favors, Matt Olson. And I watched him in the game. They lost to Washington yesterday. and he really looked out of sorts. Like he was like a frog in a blender. Stood at the plate there, his arms and legs everywhere. So yeah, it's like, yeah, like a frog in a blender. That's what he looked like. Trying to put bat on ball.
How does that saying come around? You could throw anything in a blender and it doesn't know what to do.
Yeah, but frogs are all, you know what I mean? For anyone who hasn't got visuals, I'm doing my best. Is it an amphibian? Yeah, I'm doing my best frog impression. They're all arms and legs, aren't they? Like, you know, I can't keep doing that. Sorry, but you get what I mean.
We're good. We're audio.
We are audio. If you,
did that for like 20 seconds. That was awesome.
People, that's why I said frog in a blender. That's a words work. People can make their own picture now of said frog. Don't, if you are listening, don't put a frog in a blender, people. That's just cruel. Just imagine what it would be like.
So
anyway,
thing, like, do you press the button on the blender, or is it just he's stuck in the blender and he's trying to just crawl around in it?
Well, I think you like put it on slow, like as if you're doing breadcrumbs, maybe. Do you know what I mean? Like,
sure.
No, you're not trying to pulp the thing. You know, just give it a warning. I don't know. You get the idea. What are we talking about? Oh, Matt Olson. Anyway, Matt Olson needs to hit the ball, is what we're talking about.
This lineup, they have so many pieces, though. There's a lot of people that step up on every game. It's not just Olson. You got Swanson, and I mean, it goes all the way up and down that lineup. They're able to piece together some runs. They're a power hitting Cleveland team.
It's just because I watched that game last night. You know, the recency thing does overtake you. So I watched that game last night, and it was so disappointing. And again, against Washington, you're expecting all of those guys that you just mentioned to put back the ball, and none of them did. They're just going down in order: Acuna, Swanson, Riley, Olson, and then all of a sudden you think, well, what happened there? Why has that happened 3 times?
Yeah, Harris the second.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden they'll come out tonight on Wednesday's games and probably go and score double figures. So
I think I have them on the run line tonight.
So you said Jake Odorizzi wasn't ticker worthy. So the game we put on the ticker is the old rivalry, the 7:05 first pitch between the Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees. Rich Hill, left-handed veteran, goes for the Boston Red Sox, and the man Garrett Cole gets to start for the Yankees. Lines are the Boston Red Sox plus 185, the New York Yankees minus 225. Total here is set at 8, and this is all on you, Noah.
So this was not me. This wasn't one of my games. Uh-oh.
Okay, well, it's not one of mine.
All right, so Boston and the Yankees, let's start off with some trends here. I'm pulling them up on my computer. The total has gone under in 10 of Boston's last 15. They are 2-5 straight up in their last 7 games against the Yankees. 2-9 in their last 11 when on the road in Yankee Stadium. The Yankees, they're 7-2 in their last 9. They've kind of righted the ship here. The over is hitting 4 of their last 5. Garrett Cole on the mound for the Yankees. He's 12-7 with a 3.41 ERA, 236 strikeouts. But we all know the deal. He's faced the Red Sox like 7 times in the last 2 years, and he just struggles against the Red Sox. He either has a blow-up game or he's going to go out there and throw 10 strikeouts and go 7 innings strong. And there's no in between. I think he's had like two games where he's done really, really well, and the other ones he has not. Rich Hill, on the other hand, he's a lefty. The Yankees are one of the best left-handed hitting lineups in the league. 7-7 for Hill, 4.70 ERA, 90 strikeouts. I love the over here. I think that Cole is going to give up his usual runs. And then we get into this, I mean, up and down the order. Every Yankee can crush left-handed hitting, it seems. And Hill seems like a perfect soft-tossing lefty to go out there. And either he's going to get burned by either Judge, Stanton, or Torres, who's having a great stretch of games here as well. I like the over, and then right into that Boston bullpen, they're going to help out as well. Malcolm, what do you think?
Maybe I didn't handicap this fully because I just saw Boston at the Yankees with Garrett Cole on the mound, and I just circled Boston. I just wanted to take them. I think that's probably about as far as I got. That plus 185 price. And also what probably was sprinkled into it was the money New York Yankees owe us from when we took Pittsburgh last night, and there was that first inning grand slam from, I think it was Cabrera. Is it Oswald Cabrera? first inning grand slam, and that was the end of that, really. So I think we get it back tomorrow. I think Richard's going to go out and deal tomorrow. Lefty, he's going to nibble around the place, and he's going to get these big beefy swingers for the New York Yankees. And yeah, Gerrit Cole can, Rafael Devers can get to him as per usual.
This was your game, Malcolm. I'm gonna throw it out there. This was yours.
Just because it wasn't yours, that doesn't automatically mean it was mine.
How does that work? How does that work out?
Like, listen, we don't live in a blame culture here, Noah. This is a safe space for people. We don't apportion blame to anybody.
We're giving up 43% wrong bets on the podcast, 57% winners. You're going to be wrong half the time, almost.
Absolutely. I'm going to do what Sean does. When Sean Green is clearly not handicapped anything, he always says, listen, I'm a good handicapper, which means he hasn't done his research. It's normally when we're talking about the horses. He says, well, I'm a good handicapper. And that means I haven't even looked at this. So, yeah. I gut handicapped the Boston-New York game. And I gut handicapped Boston at plus 185. So there you go. Empty your pockets on that. 7:10 Eastern first pitch is the Toronto Blue Jays at the Tampa Bay Rays. TBD pitcher for Toronto here, therefore no lines. But I think it's Alek Manoah, so I don't know what the secrecy's about. And the lefty Jeffrey Springs will get the start for Tampa Bay. So like I say, no lines on this one. I'm guessing you've got Manoah going as well, Noah, yeah?
Yes, I have Manoah going as well. These two faced each other a few weeks ago, I believe.
Yeah, it's entirely possible. Alek Manoah, I got handicapped it, mate, again. I didn't actually. Alek Manoah was 14-7, 240 ERA, 183 2/3 with 168 strikeouts. Jeffrey Springs, 9-4, 235 ERA, 5 spots less than Manoah's. 121 1/3 with 130 strikeouts. Manoah has been on fire lately, 129 in his last 5, 220 on the road for the season. And he's pitched 86 2/3 against the AL East this season.
That's a lot of innings.
Isn't it? Yeah, it's about 45% off the top of my head. 45% of his season innings have been in division. Come out with a 2.18 ERA. So I think he's quite settled taking on these divisional rivals here. Jeffrey Springs, excellent as well, 239 in his last 5. He, in division, has a 5-2 record with a 2.52 ERA. In terms of a lean, Tampa Bay have lost the last 3, and Toronto just look a little bit more up for it. Tampa Bay maybe just about, I think the candle's just about to be extinguished on their season, where Toronto appear to be ready to make a little bit more of a charge. Toronto have a 2-game lead over Tampa, and I think they could stretch it out over this weekend. I did think, and this is your department here. Let me just stick this number in my computer, see what I come up with. A strikeout prop for Jeffrey Springs is something I was looking at, because he's not a big name pitcher, kind of goes under the radar a little bit. If we said on the season, he's over 9 strikeouts per 9 on the season. And his last 3 games, he's struck out 6, 5, and 2, which are actually relatively low numbers. He struck out 7 and 8 in the games before that. I think he could get a 5.5, a 5, maybe even a 4.5 if the odds makers just take their eyes off the ball a little bit here. And I think Jeffrey Springs could go and strike out quite a few batters tomorrow. So that would be a angle to look at. My main play, though, is going to be the first 5 under. I've given you all the numbers. The ERAs all start with 2. The recencies start with 1. The in-division records start with 2. The clues are there. It's going to be low. Looks like a pitching matchup to me. So give me some spring strikeouts, but I'll take the first 5 under, Noah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Springs. I've been backing him a lot lately, but I do not fade Toronto a whole lot. They are actually they were in the top 5 of teams that struck out the least in the MLB. Right now, they're number 6 in the MLB with just over 7.5 strikeouts. So they do really well at the plate, seeing pitches and working counts. So not fully on board with like another spring strikeout play here, but I mean, he's definitely capable of doing it. My storyline of this game, I forgot to mention it yesterday. Randy Arozarena and Yandy Diaz. It was rumored. Did you hear about this?
Nope.
So it was rumored that these two got in a scuffle in the parking lot after one of their losses.
Yeah.
And Yandy Diaz has mysteriously landed on the IL.
Oh, okay.
So I think there's something going on here. As the Rays, last week we were talking about this Rays Blue Jays series, how it was such a pivotal series that the Rays needed to win in order to stay in the AL East. He got swept by the Blue Jays. This parking lot altercation occurs, and Yandy Diaz is on the IL. So he's got a little bit of a shoulder issue. He's missed the last two games straight, and he will not play Thursday, and it doesn't look like he's going to play Friday either with a shoulder injury. So for me, I'm on the Blue Jays. Like I said this on yesterday's podcast, I just didn't mention that angle as well. They look like the better team for me. Manoah is a better starter on the mound. He's been one of the best pitchers in the AL all year. Springs, I like him. So if you want to take the under, go ahead. We just got to wait and see where that comes out. But Blue Jays, I think, are going to win this game.
Okay. No house advantage are changing the game by offering the most dynamic fantasy sports platform available today. You can play in pick'em contests versus other people for a chance of winning $250,000 or more in cash. You can download the app, choose your contest, select your players, and earn points for correct picks. Climb the leaderboard to win that big money. All the major sports represented there. If you check out No House Advantage today, you'll experience daily fantasy sports redefined. We have a promo code SGPN at nohouseadvantage.com, or download the app to get a first deposit match up to $25. Promoguide.us, the best place to go if you're interested in plus EV betting strategies. They will direct you to all the cash bonuses from the major sports books. There's a VIP Discord group as well that all points you in the right direction. The daily promo updates as well, really informative, so you can cash in big whenever there's some bonus money to be made. Promo Guy is run by a small team of passionate sports fans as well. It's not all AI stuff. There's real people there digging out the good stuff for you. Go to promoguide.us and check out their 100% tracked, transparent, and proven method for betting smarter. Make sure you check out promoguide.us. And finally, Sleeper, the fantasy platform, which I assume you use. I just checked mine before we came on tonight to see if I had any Steelers or Browns that needed moving in or out of my flex spot or anything. I've got one Pat Fry and Ruth Shergo, and that was about it. Nothing exciting. But the over-under game on Sleeper, I saw the little icon there next to my players. I could have clicked on Pat Fry and Ruth if I fancied to have a big game and put a couple of quid on him to go over his receptions or receiving yards, something like that. You can win 2 to 20 times that money that you do put in if you want to play that game. It's the first game that is integrated into your fantasy experience. The thing to do is join our listener group at sleeper.com/SGP. Sleeper will automatically match your first deposit up to $100 with that promo code SGP. Sleeper.com/SGP for $100 match on your first deposit. T's and C's apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Next up is, I keep having to frantically scroll up to the top left to say I haven't missed the Mets out, but the Mets are on the West Coast, so they come further down the list chronologically. 8:05 Eastern is where we're going to the Cleveland Guardians and the Texas Rangers, where Cody Morris will get the start for Cleveland and John Gray goes for Texas. Do we have any lines on this one? We do. It's a close one on the books. Cleveland -104, Texas -115, and the total is set at 7.5. Cody Morris is a rookie pitcher. No, this is your wheelhouse.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about him earlier this season as well. He's been good in the minor leagues coming up, and he's been somebody that I've kept my eye on. He's 0-2 on the year to start, though. I guess you can run with it in the pitching matchup because I'm not actually going to side with him today.
Okay, you're a Texas better tomorrow, are you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any particular reason? Are you going to elaborate?
Oh, yeah, I will. I didn't know you were
keeping
it.
Yeah. You keeping it a secret.
So for me, why not? For me, Cleveland went from playing in a pivotal series against the White Sox to going to play in a pivotal series against the Twins, back to playing against the White Sox. They've had back-to-back-to-back series, high intensity, and this team plays with a ton of intensity. I think this is a little bit of a letdown spot and a travel spot after that White Sox series, going down to Texas where John Gray pitches amazing at home. I like the Rangers here.
I'm just going to keep riding Cleveland here. I think if there's one team in MLB at the moment that things like letdown spots and travel spots and stuff wouldn't affect. Yeah, Cleveland just seem to want to keep rolling because that's what's worked for them. They haven't, and we know Tampa can do things different ways, and certain teams have been streaky. Cleveland have just been, they're probably one of the most consistent sides. They haven't sort of won 5, then lost 5. They've just sort of ground it out, and they got 3 or 4 games ahead, and they've kind of stayed there. And I think they're just going to come in and just keep on going forwards. If they start kind of mucking about with trying to rest people or whatever, it could come back to bite them. So yeah, I've backed Cleveland all week. They've won all week, so I think they've done enough for me to earn my trust and go one more night with them. Decent price as well.
I think they've won 5 in a row here. They're 13-3 in the last 16 games here, so they're on a little bit of a winning streak.
They've won 3 in a row, but they've won 8 of the last 10. And all of a sudden, we had a lot of talk about the White Sox, you and Munaf. We're all wetting your knickers about them winning the series a couple of weeks ago, but I was steadfastly behind the Cleveland Guardians. And all of a sudden, it's a 6-game lead now, and Cleveland have done really well to stretch their legs there.
If they win tonight, actually, I think it's clinched.
So yeah, give me no reason for me not to carry on taking the Cleveland Guardians in that position.
Not next. Clinched. I'll go back on my words there. They would need to really, really be bad to lose it. I think they would need to be like 3-9 in their next 12 games to lose the division if they win tonight.
Yeah, biggest price winner. It's been one of my favorite stories of the season, actually, Cleveland. I've quite enjoyed watching them. They've been a fun watch. 8:10 Eastern first pitch. Seattle Mariners at the Kansas City Royals. Marco Gonzalez, lefty, will go for Seattle. Kansas City at TBD. I think it's Brady Singer. I know you think that it's Brady Singer as well. We've got no lines on this one, unfortunately. But let's talk us through Gonzalez against Singer. And what do you think the lines might be on this, Noah?
I think
close, won't it?
I think we could see Kansas City as like a plus 120, plus 130 dog.
Yeah. Where they've been all week. If they've not been that price even today, when I fucking well back the Twins today. Kansas City they were plus 125 from plus 140. Yeah, it just seems like a kind of a standard game, this.
Yeah. And I mean, Kansas City's almost been my spirit animal the last second half of the year after the All-Star break. Actually, it started before the All-Star break with that series in Toronto. I'm going to keep going back to that. That was one of my best handicaps all year. Travel spot here, though. Big, juicy one. As Seattle comes to Kansas City from Oakland, Seattle is 2-5 in their last 7 games. Kansas City's 4-2 in their last 6. Kansas City's going to feast off of Marco Gonzalez, a lefty who's 10-14 this year with a 4.01 ERA, 92 strikeouts, 47 walks, and 166 innings pitched. He got lit up by the Angels for 5 runs, 6.1 innings in his last start. And then Kansas City, this guy is one of my guys. He pitched at Florida. Brady Singer has been amazing here. 9-4 with a 3.14 ERA, 136 strikeouts, 32 walks, and 140.2 innings pitched. He has a 2.22 ERA in his last 8 starts. This is one of my favorite plays of the day. When the line drops, I'm going to hammer this Royals money line.
Go Gators.
Yes, sir.
Was that right?
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, get in. Have that Dryden and your bloody Beavers or whatever they are.
I usually have the Trask jersey up here. That's one of my jerseys that I like to hang. He was a Heisman contender for the football team, but that's a Florida Gators jersey. I don't know if you knew that.
No, absolutely not. No, I am an aficionado of US college sports officially now. Why not keep back in Kansas City here? Seattle are in a bit of a funk, just a little mini one. They lost to Oakland last night. They are currently tied 5-5, so they're making
hard work. They were up
Sorry?
3-0. They were up 3-0 that game.
Yeah, absolutely. They're currently struggling to get past Oakland again. That game's in the 6th inning, I think, 5-5. And then you say big travel sport. It's not one of their premium pieces pitching in Marco Gonzalez. Kansas City, you look going to be a really fun team. I actually saw Johnny Junta, friend of the show, tweeted out earlier on that Kansas City are going to be a machine in 2 or 3 years' time.
I
they looked really
agree with him. I think it was a stupid firing of their president of baseball operations. He's got that thing ready to go.
Oh, was that him yesterday? That was a very funny tweet when what's the bloke's name who got fired? Do you remember?
It was what's his last name's Moore. His first name is a little bit of
began with a D, maybe, did it?
Dayton Moore. He's the father of a college baseball player that I love too, Robert Moore. He got drafted.
I saw a tweet that before he left the building, he asked if he could promote and demote Edward Olivares one last time.
Yeah,
just for sentiment. Because in the fantasy community, Olivares was up and down like a bride's nightie last season and this season. So that was a funny little. It was quite a niche baseball joke, but it did make me giggle.
That guy, he's so cool. There's so many stories that come out of him. He was so personable with the players, and when they fired him, he wanted to go. He talked to every person in the clubhouse, not just only the players. This is a story that I heard. It was like team personnel as well, like a one-on-one conversation. Just he's a good dude. He is.
Okay, give me KC tomorrow, and we will move on to.
By the way, you brought up Johnny Junta. I want to tease this. We have the idea of bringing on some people to do a sort of like playoff draft where you draft your teams and whatnot. We're going to come up with some kind of rule set. Johnny Junta is one of the guys. We had him on in the preseason. I haven't had him on during the regular season, so we'd love to ask him. Maybe Minty, we had her on the podcast. Scott, we haven't asked any of these guys, so we'd like a little bit of input from you guys. You can come in the Discord and tag them. If they're in the Discord, tag them. Just say jump on the draft.
I guess some listeners involved, Noah. Why? We'll just throw it open to everybody. You need it if you get in front of Johnny in the queue. You just have to draft the Blue Jays, whether you want them or not, just to get a rise out of them.
We are transparent. There are no secrets that we keep against you guys.
Apart from Demunaf, obviously. Next is right. So we're skipping over the Twins. I'm out on the Twins. We will go to an 8:10 Eastern first pitch between the Detroit Tigers and the Chicago White Sox, where Eduardo Rodriguez, lefty, goes for Detroit, and Lucas Giolito will get the start for the Chicago White Sox. Lines they're going to be further up the page, aren't they? Yeah, I'll be with you momentarily. There we go. Detroit plus 155. Stop laughing. Chicago White Sox minus 184. Total is set at 7.5. Erod for Detroit, 3-5 on the year, 4.35 ERA, 72 1/3, 59 strikeouts. Giolito, 10-9 with a 5.07 ERA, 143 2/3 pitched, 158 Ks. Erod's been inconsistent in terms of performance, but he kind of consistently always gives up some runs. He's got a 4.26 road. He's got a 4.26 road ERA. His last start was against the White Sox. This is pretty much an indication of what you get. This is his kind of classic stat line: is 6 1/3 pitch, 2 earned runs. Giolito has been going a little bit better recently, I suppose. 3.95 over his last 5 starts. He's got a horrible home ERA of 6.61. These two pitchers actually had a very similar profile.
They do.
Yeah, the game logs, stat lines just kind of come out mirroring each other. So at the prices, I thought that Erod could go quite well. I expect him to have a better. I was disappointed with him a couple of weeks ago. When I was in Vegas, I watched his start against Houston, and I was sitting with Cousin Mush, and Cousin Mush had Houston first 5, and I thought it was a bit of a dodgy pick, and then Erod didn't really pitch very well. So I'm going to give him another chance here. I think Detroit could get their noses in front here in the first 5 innings. So the money line is around about plus 155. So maybe Detroit first half would be about plus 135 or something. So a decent dog price here. Detroit could get their noses in front early on in this one. We discussed yesterday that the White Sox are just a little bit gnarly at the minute, a little bit broken, Noah.
Just tribute this as like my payback, I guess, for all the fantasy beatings that you gave me all year. This was the game that we got screwed up, and I had the lead handicap as well. So the Tigers, they had an off day on Thursday, so that might mean something as they travel to Chicago, who they themselves they could get swept by the Cleveland Guardians here tonight, but I mean they at least lost 3 of 4 to the Guardians here. And Detroit last weekend covered 2 of the 3 games on the run line here. So Chicago was not taking care of business against the Tigers. And you mentioned it, Erod, he had that typical start he usually does, 6.1, 2 runs, 2 hits, 7 punchies. Giolito, on the other hand, only went 5.2 with 4 hits. There were runners on him all day long as he had 3 walks with 5 strikeouts, only gave up 1 run as he got out of a couple of jams. I think that, both the Twins and the White Sox, they've kind of been out-efforted by the Guardians head-to-head. And you saw the Twins enter the series with the Royals. I mean, they got slapped around by Kansas City. I think the same thing's going to kind of happen to the White Sox here as they enter against Detroit. Just a lowly team, and you just kind of just are feeling I don't know, down. I don't have another word in my head to come off the top of my mind or tip of my tongue that is currently bruised and swollen. But in his career, Giolito has struggled against Detroit, so I'm taking the Tigers outright. I think they can win this game, and I think it's somewhat of like a momentum that's just completely gone from the White Sox hot air balloon that was consistently stale, like not going up or really down all year. It just kind of didn't really leave the plateau, I would say. We expected way more of them, and I think it's just going to come crash and burn. I said it was going to crash and burn for Minnesota and Kansas City. It's going to crash and burn here for the White Sox hosting the Tigers this weekend.
Yeah, the word might be unmotivated. The White Sox just have been all season, and they haven't got any sort of young guys who are coming up to have a fun September. Where Detroit have Akil Badou's back. I don't know if it's the ghost of the Akil Badou.
Young guys are there, like all their talent is currently there. And one of the guys that has pissed me off in the last 2 games specifically is Yohan Moncada. What are you doing? Like, I don't know if you saw the ground ball that I tweeted out. He literally corrals it, and it's lackadaisical throw to first base. The runner beats it out. 2 plays later, he makes an error, and they score a run in the first inning. So, like, your team's already down a run because of you, and they lost the last night because you gave them a free run on a stolen base and a overthrown ball. It's like, what are you doing? What they should have done is given him a night off, but he ended up going out and hitting a home run anyway, so he kind of made up for it. But, I mean, either way, the guy – I think he's pissed me off, but he's also pissed off the White Sox franchise for the last 2 years as well. So,
okay, I've remembered to go to the top of the page for 9:40 Eastern first pitch between the New York Mets and the Oakland Athletics. Chris Bassett for the Mets and Cole Irvin, the lefty, for Oakland, who are a plus 205 home underdog. The Mets are minus 250 on the road. Total set at 7. And I'll chuck this across to you, Noah.
Is this the penultimate game? How many games do we have left?
It is the penultimate game.
There we go.
Oh, well done, man.
What's the last one on your page?
I'm so proud of you.
I want to make sure. What's the last one on your page? I want to make sure you didn't skip one.
Dodgers cards.
We skipped one.
Yeah, I skipped the Padres.
Yep, you skipped the Padres. But
I wasn't having it.
This isn't quite the penultimate game, but we got.
They're in the bottom draw. The Padres are in the bottom draw.
No, they're not. They're in the NL wildcard race.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, they're in the second. They're in the. They're in the second draw down though. They're on their way there.
Okay. Well, you gave me the Padres the handicap, so I have a full handicap that I want to do.
Mate.
But
I don't know what I'm doing.
Let's hit the Mets. They traveled to Oakland on an off day, so there's no travel day here. They enjoyed the day in the Bay Area. And then you got Chris Bassett going for those Metsies. They're 14-8 when he's on the mound, 3.26 ERA, 163 strikeouts, 45 walks, and 171 innings pitched. He has a 3.89 ERA on the road. And for the Oakland Athletics, Cole Irvin is starting on the bump, 9-11 on the year, 3.79 ERA, 114 strikeouts, 33 walks, and 166.1 innings pitched with a 2.79 ERA at the dump. He has a full run better at home than he is on the season. So the thing is, the Mets money line is juiced out. So the question is, do you think that Oakland with Irvin can beat the Mets? I don't. So then you have to go down to, I mean, this is one of the strongest arms the Athletics have on their mound. Bassett's been going well lately. I like the under in this game, and specifically, I don't want to get burned by the Oakland bullpen, so I like it in the first 5.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't mind any of that. I've got under scribbled out, over written next to it scribbled out, and under written next to that, all in the last 3 or 4 hours. So I mean, don't ask me what's going on. Yeah, I've changed. I've changed teams a few times with this one. I just thought that the Mets were due a couple of runs. They didn't. I thought they were unlucky last night against the Brewers and that Taiwan Walker team. But they did come out with that ever so slightly banged up. I think Brandon Nimmo might have gone day to day, and Pete Alonso at one point looked like he'd hurt himself as well. Oakland have been a little bit more competitive. They beat Seattle last night. Like we said, they've actually just gone behind 7-5, but they seem to have found their bats a little bit in this recently as well. So I'm going to stick with me over. I'm going to go with my fourth incarnation of this pick. And I think 7's a little bit too low because I think the Mets are due a few runs. And I think Oakland can contribute as well.
They'll get them on the bullpen. We'll both hit this, okay?
Yeah, fair enough. So we'll take the first 5 under, and then we'll go through the gears and get over full game. Okay, so next up then, if you're intent on doing the Padres, this is going to be the penultimate game, and we'll go to that game now. In fact, the game is an 8:10 first pitch. And it is the San Diego Padres at the Colorado Rockies. Sean Manaea, left-handed pitcher for the Padres, and Ryan Feltner for the Colorado Rockies. The lines are... Oh, no. They're up there.
You missing them?
I
have them in front of me.
I've got them. San Diego minus 151. Colorado plus 129. Total set at a beautiful 11.5, Noah. Why are you so keen to handicap this? What have you got for us?
I love this game. I handicapped it so well, and it's my biggest one, so that's why I want to cover it now. The Padres, they traveled down from San Diego on a 5-game win streak to Colorado. Not counting Thursday, they could go on a 6-game win streak, or they could lose that Thursday game against the Cardinals. But this is a betting commandment. Fade the visiting team in game 1 at Coors, and then the other part of that is fade the Rockies in game 1 outside of Coors Field. Pitching for the Padres is Sean Manaea, 7-9 with a 5.18 ERA, 145 strikeouts, 46 walks, and 144.1 innings pitched. Is an 11.24 ERA in his last 3 starts that went longer than an inning. He had one of those 4 starts was a 1-inning game against the Dodgers. Off of memory, I do not remember what happened there. He might have tweaked something and got pulled early. Going to the Rockies starting pitcher here is Ryan Feltner. Now, he's either a short-term guy, like they use him as an opener, or he has the ability to go deep into the games. 3-8 with a 6.05 ERA, 72 strikeouts, 29 walks in, 80.1 innings pitched. He himself has a 7.01 ERA in his last 12 starts, so he's been consistently terrible since the All-Star game. Manaea, he throws 62% of his pitches as sinkers, 24% of his pitches as changeups. Those are 2 most used pitches. And, I mean, we talk about it all the time on the podcast. This is like some of my favorite stuff to talk about. Those 2 specific pitches lose about 3 inches of break downwards, vertical movement in Coors Field because of the altitude. He's not going to have a good time pitching on this Denver mound. And Feltner has a pitching repertoire that can do well in Coors, but he has a 6.55 home ERA. So smash this over 11.5. You look at the public percentage, 95% of them are on that under 11.5 just because the number is so huge. I love this game, and we're just taking over. So we're going first 5 over, we're going full game over, and we're going both team totals over. We're taking over. Malcolm.
Okay. So I think Noah likes the over in this spot tomorrow. I didn't handicap this game even a little bit because I completely forgot about it. However, I'm going to take the under. Both teams are rubbish. I'm bored of Colorado, and I'm quite bored of San Diego. The game tonight in Colorado finished 3-0. Both of these teams are giving up. So this is going to go way under. I'll take it under 6.5 tomorrow in this one. That's my handicap.
The fans are going to listen and laugh.
They're not. They're going to cash. They're going to cash big. We're going to go down the ladder. We're going to start at the top of the ladder. We're going to go down the ladder to 6.5, and we're going to cash everything, Noah.
Right.
The ultimate game is a 10-10 Eastern first pitch. The St. Louis Cardinals at the LA Dodgers, where lefty Jose Quintana goes for the Cards. Dodgers TBD. I reckon it's Andrew Heaney. No odds as a result, unfortunately, on this one. Can give you a little handicap. Quintana 5-6 on the year, 3.16 ERA, 151 innings, 124 Ks. Andrew Heaney 3-2, 2.66 ERA, 61 innings, and 92 strikeouts. That's a lot. Quintana's been one of the pitchers of the season, actually. We've talked about him a lot because in April and through the middle of May, we were waiting for him to blow up. And then he just kept getting better. And then he got traded and suddenly was on a good team. And he's still absolutely shoving. His last 5 starts, 0-1-1, 2-2 earned runs given up. I will temper that by saying that opposition were Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Washington, Cincinnati, and then one against Atlanta. So he has benefited from a little bit of soft opposition. 4.60 road ERA on the season and a 4.31 number against the NL West. Andrew Heaney had one bad start on the 5th of September against the Giants, but apart from that, he's been good recently since he came back off the IL. This is going to be tight, and I don't think the lines are going to be too far apart. It's not very often you get the Dodgers at a very backable price. So my handicap of this was, I want the Dodgers in this spot. And if you're going to back the Dodgers, you just have to back the Dodgers on the run line. So that would be my pick. The one bet begets the other one. You want the Dodgers, you take them to cover the spread. So give me the LA Dodgers here, whatever that's going to be. But I'll take them on the run line. Might be a little bit of plus money, I think, though. He's on mute. Hey, well done, everybody. Mate, you've nearly got a whole week without doing that.
I know. So
unlucky.
You think that the Dodgers, okay. So you think the run line is going to come out of plus money. And I think there's a reason for that. The Cardinals are the best left-handed hitting team in the MLB. Come on, Malcolm. Okay. So the first thing that jumped out the page for me is I like the over. Quintana pitches worse on the road to a 4.81 ERA, and I think the Cardinals lineup is going to rake against Heaney. Now, the Dodgers lineup actually does significantly worse against left-handed pitching than right-handed pitching. They love right-handed pitching. They have 800 plus OPS against left-handed pitching. Compared to their 767 OPS against right-handed pitching for the Dodgers, that's still great. But the Cardinals 805 against lefties. I really think there's going to be some runs scored here. I like the Cardinals as a dog just because I think you explained the handicap for me. I think it's going to open up a little bit lower and backable, and people are going to jump on the Dodgers money line when I really think that the Cardinals have a chance to flat out win this game. They're going to come up here pissed off after losing the series to the Padres in game 1, and they're going to take it against the Dodgers.
Okay, so you're adding one in that using my own theories against me. Okay, Noah, into the bottom drawer. There was nothing in there for me. I pulled the bottom drawer open. I had a look in. There was nothing to my fancy, so I closed it again. Did you pull anything out?
I opened it and I saw the I laughed at Bryce Wilson. He's like an auto fade for me.
Yeah.
And then you look
because your man Javier Assad, who's pitching for the Cubs against the Pirates, actually is going along quite well. So yeah, Cubs might be a bettable price there tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see where that opens. So I think the Cubs was my bottom drawer pick. They're minus 115 on the money line right now. Not a ton of confidence, but that's like we talk auto fades on SGP or the college experience. Bryce Wilson has been one of my favorites all year for the MLB. The Cubs at just slight favorites of the game. I love them on the road in PNC Park. They actually have a winning record this year on the road in PNC Park. So give me the Cubs on the money line in the bottom drawer, please.
There's another possible fade here as well, just looking, Noah. It's Jojo Gray, because he just looks tired. He's really struggling lately. And they go to Miami. So that will be priced quite close together. Don't know who's going for Miami, unfortunately, but Miami might be just with the presence of Jojo Gray. That could be something close to a pick 'em, unless it's Sandy or someone going for Miami. So,
we got
but I'd be
2 enjoyable toilet bowl games there tomorrow.
yeah. So we'd be if it's a decent price, we can fade Jojo Gray. Okay, lock and dog picks to come after I've told you firstly about the Elias Game Plan app, the official statisticians of a lot of the US Pro Sports League. This app is going to help you with your fantasy leagues, making your picks if you're having a bet, or even if you're just talking a bit of football to your mates at work. The Elias Game Plan. New features all the time being released onto that. The chat functions on there. You get loads of league validated team and player news, head-to-head team comparisons, key insights from their expert team as well. You'll get a 15% off your annual subscription with the Elias Game Plan app. That is ELIAS at the App Store or Play Store by using our promo code SGPN15. So that the promo code is SGPN15. And you want to download the Elias Game Plan sports betting app. And finally, Run Your Pool VIP, brand new subscription service from Run Your Pool, helps you get an extra edge against the books, plus exclusive access to real money pools. If you're a serious sports fan, you do need Run Your Pool VIP, in-depth guides how to dominate your pools, and exclusive swag there as well. The code is SGPN VIP. And you need to use that at runyourpool.com/VIP. You'll get a 50% off your first month of runyourpool.vip. SGPN VIP at runyourpool.com/VIP. Okay, we got through a lot of stuff there. No, we overran like we always do. Moonaf will tell us off. So give us your lock and dog, mate. What you got?
First off, grand slam for Brendan Donovan and the Cardinals. They take a 5-3 lead late in the 7th inning of that game.
Okay,
so
because San Diego were my lock there, so that's fucked that up.
I'm sorry. I cheered you and I think Dylan locked up the Padres.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
I apologize for fist bumping in the camera screen. Sorry to deliver the bad news, but I'm going to the Padres, and I'm gonna honestly. We're taking over in this game. I don't care what it is. The listeners can pick their poison, whether they want the Padres team total, they want the Colorado Rockies team total, they want to take the over in the full game or the over in the first 5. I like all 4 of them. And I say pick your poison only because that's the saying, but it's not going to be poison because all 4 of them are going to hit. And then for my dog, if you want analysis, I'm not going to like run through it all. I heavily capped that game, pitch analysis and percentage up there. It's just not going to work for either starter. And then the Rockies bullpen is terrible. For my dog, how can we not Malcolm? We're going to Kansas City and like it's an amazing travel spot. We get Seattle coming from Oakland with Marco Gonzalez on the mound, who is just not in great form. He got lit up by the Angels in his last start, 5 runs in 6 innings by that team, and Brady Singer for the Royals. The odds aren't out, but there's no way I can go the full podcast and not give this out as my dog of the day. He has been dominant with a 2.22 ERA in his last 8 starts. This is one of my favorite plays of the whole day. Like money line dog, I don't care. This is probably like my top 2 play of the day. Yeah,
that's fair enough. I was hoping you were going to take the Tigers and I was going to take the Royals. On the grounds you've taken the Royals, I'll take the Tigers for my dog. But I took them on the first 5. You've got them full game. So
they have a better bullpen, the White Sox, too. I don't know if you should be nervous about that.
Nah, different way of skinning the same cat, really. So and whichever way it is, get some Detroit in your books. For my lock, I am going to this pitching duel between Alec Manoah and Jeffrey Springs, and I'm going to take a first 5 under here. Just all the key stats are filled with numbers that start with a 1 and a 2, whichever pitcher. That's really, really good. Tampa Bay batting lineup's kind of given up a little bit as well. You mentioned some clubhouse issues, maybe. Stuff going on behind the scenes. The dugout doesn't seem a very happy place at the minute for Tampa Bay. Yeah, so give me the first 5 under in that one. And that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is the show done. Thank you very much, Noah. That was, as always, a lot of fun. Fun, the key word, as always. Okay, it is Friday tomorrow. We will have a Lock Dog Total show probably for the Saturday games. I've got lots of work this weekend. I've got a job tomorrow. I've got a job on Saturday, which is over the other side of the country.
Ooh.
I've got my casino out at a couple of weddings over the weekend. So yeah, that'll keep me busy and pay for a few terrible NFL bets on Sunday night. That's what that's doing. So nothing not to like about that. Thanks everyone for listening. We appreciate it. You know where to find all of our content on the website and in the app. And don't forget the Discord channel as well. Good luck with your MLB bets. We hope we've unearthed a couple of winners for you. And until tomorrow, we will see you down the road. Cheers.